But from his parents' perspective, there was someone who threw a rock into the window, maybe to get inside while their son was home. So they had more and more questions.
We stripping wire today, nigga. We
was
stripping
freaking
wire.
out, you know? Next thing he knows, the police have been called, and the police come over, and they're like, what did the man look like? And they over here taking notes and stuff, and he's like, he doesn't know what to say next, because he didn't think this far. And that's how I feel like Trump must feel about Epstein, because it goes so deep. It's like he didn't think this far in the lies.
Why are we called Northern Tool and Equipment and not Northern Tool and Tomfoolery? Unlike the big box stores, when you ask one of us, do you have a 3,000 PSI 4 GPM wet steam and hot water pressure washer? Our answer won't be check next to the wicker baskets. It will be aisle 7, right next to all of the other pressure washers. And it will be answered by someone who knows their way around a pressure washer. Northern Tool and Equipment. Get serious.
Like he just didn't account for it. He thought he could make it quiet, you know? It's not going to be pitched as a direct, absolutely direct order from Trump, what the DOJ did, but the DOJ came out after interviews saying, oh, there's so much information, we're just trying to figure out how to put it out there in a way that's clear. Oh, there's so many files, there's a list of names, there's logs, there's a client list. After saying all this stuff in the media, the DOJ comes out and says, actually, the investigation is closed, we're not going to be prosecuting anybody else, and I think we got to the bottom of it. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
You don't always do that.
That's not going to stand at all. That's not going to stand with anybody, because you got to remember who Trump garnered with this belief that he'd release the Epstein files. He's got MAGA, sure, but he also has Q. Nobody talks about Q anymore, but they're still around. And they believe deeply that Donald Trump is going to be the one to unleash all of the truth. All the evidence will come out. When Trump is president, he'll turn over everything on the powerful cabal that has been victimizing people across the world. And then he's like, hey, I don't know. And I think he thought that he could really bury it, that he could truly bury it. But he's wrong. He's wrong because there are a lot of things that he didn't account for. There are people that Trump controls. There are people who he orders around, and there are people who blindly follow him, sure. But he didn't count on things like he died to a biographer for like 100 hours, like just a ridiculous amount of time. I have friends I don't think I've spoken to for 100 hours. 100 hours, you probably say a lot of nothing, and you probably say some pretty interesting stuff. Those 100 hours of conversation is how we know that Trump and Epstein were tight for years. Well, even Epstein said he knows some of the inner workings of the White House because him and Trump would just chop it up. I mean, that's heavy. That's a lot to try to sidestep. And Trump's been making mistakes this whole time. Even when Epstein died, right? Epstein died. He was in jail and he passed.
Almost there.
Who can say how?
We stripping wire, nigga. We stripping wire. Showing y'all niggas how to strip wire. No, that's how you strip wire, nigga.
And, you know, Ghislaine Maxwell gets, you know, charged, has a whole trial, gets convicted, sentenced to 20 years in prison. And apparently what we're hearing now is that at the time, you know, Trump floated pardoning her. And the people that heard that almost couldn't believe it. Why would he pardon her? That's crazy. And it's like, actually, it's not that crazy when you see the picture of all them hanging out, like, in the 90s, and they met in the 80s, and they used to fly around together. Like, that's his buddy. And
He
he
was
even
good shit at the
said
end,
himself, these are his words out of his mouth. When
And-
asked about Ghislaine Maxwell during the trial, he
And-
said,
and it,
I wish her well.
Presidents.
Somebody that's on trial for trafficking. Somebody with ties to you. I wish her well. And then people were like, why would you wish her well? And then they brought it up again, and Trump was like, I wish lots of people well. And we were like, no, you don't. I've been watching you the whole time. I don't think you wish anybody well that I've seen. All you come up with is nicknames. Man floated. That's crazy. And then the DOJ comes out. Hey, yeah, this is done. Nothing else to see here. And people were having a hard time wrapping their heads around that. People who usually stump for Trump hard. No matter what he says, they manage to twist it in a way that maybe could make sense to you, and they'll say that that's what he means. One of the reasons that Trump can do everything that he does, and it comes off a different way to everybody, is because so many people think that they're the Trump whisperer. Trump will say something out of nowhere, and then there'll be people like, well, what he actually meant was something more reasonable that I'm going to say right now. And I'll be like, that's interesting, because he didn't say any of those words in that order when he was speaking. And I think he had a teleprompter, so I don't see how that's possible. And so everybody thinks that they can be the Trump whisperer, and it's just not working this time. You see people trying to come up with why Trump, why the FBI, why the Attorney General would all of a sudden, what feels like out of nowhere, try to shut this whole thing down, right? Alex Jones, of all people, saw what the DOJ did, and he made a video crying. I think it's very important. I think it's very important when, when a man shows emotion, not to just ridicule him for it because it's easy. But Alex Jones cries weird.
Everybody got to cry.
Alex Jones cry weirder than anybody I've ever seen in my life. I don't wish anything good for Alex Jones, but to see him cry felt like something happened to me too. Like it's
hard.
Alex Jones is up here like, folks. Like his eyelids were doing sit-ups, crying. I'm sick to my stomach, and I just can't believe this thing is happening. Wipe your face, dog. Like, and even Alex Jones trying to come up with something. He's like maybe the deep state got to him, and the deep state is like in his body, and that's why he's doing this stuff right now. And then he'll be back to normal after he has one of my protein shakes. You can go to my website and buy frog protein for $19.99. No, it's crazy.
You got to promote
Because
that.
Alex Jones, you gotta remember, this dude is a proper conspiracy theorist. Old school. There's something deeper behind everything. Everything at all times. And I'm not talking about like chemtrails. I'm not talking about like government operations. There's something deeper behind everything that happens all the time. Hillary Clinton went on The Tonight Show. Pretty sure this was on The Tonight Show, and she was trying to open a jar of pickles, right? I don't remember what the bit was, but that's what was happening. And Alex Jones pulled it up, and right after she opened the jar, he was like, you see? Did you see what happened right there? Hillary Clinton didn't open that jar. Now in the video, she has opened the jar. Hillary Clinton didn't open that jar. That jar was pretty opened. All right, you can tell because there was no pop. There's supposed to be a pop. There's supposed to be a. There's supposed to be a. There was no. I brought the same jar. I'm gonna open for him right now.
People buy it.
And this man spends a while trying to open the jar. he spends an uncomfortable amount of time trying to open the jar. I think at one point he even had a rag too. You know, like those kitchen tricks you use? He over here, you know, sometimes you like tap the top of it, you like. And he's like, I can't even open it right now, folks. That's how you know this thing right here, she didn't open that jar. So imagine Alex Jones on Epstein. No? I just think about the way that MAGA has been reacting. Because it is a full-on revolt. Truly. It's a thing that they cannot fathom is happening. Whether it's Q, whether it's MAGA, or whether it's just people who've been following the Epstein case from the beginning. Because you've got to remember what Epstein stands for. He is the ultimate boogeyman. He is the ultimate beacon for people that believe that all the elites are in on something together. And it's easy to make him that because he had an island, billionaires were flying around, people went to him for tax advice and for law advice. He was this financier, even though I don't think he had a law degree and he wasn't a CPA. So it's like, what are you doing with people's taxes that you helping? And so this dude, he represents a lot. He stands for a lot in conspiracy theory world and in just the regular world. This is someone who has ties to billionaires, to royalty, who come to him for horrific acts. And now you're telling us
gray area scams.
There's nothing else to see.
Find a gray area in the system.
Me and him especially. There's nothing. Don't look. Stop. 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 And so then Trump, for his part, is watching this whole thing go down, and he's watching people argue about it in front of him, people who are, you know, in his administration and on his side, argue about the best way to handle it, going back and forth. Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Cash Patel, all names that sound like they're about to be called down on The Price is Right. Like, all three of them are constantly going at it because then, like, Bongino is upset with Pam because he thinks that Pam overpromised and underdelivered and everything. Why would you even say that this stuff was coming unless you had a plan? You were just talking in front of the camera. And then Pam is going back at him, and Trump's watching this whole thing. And then in a press conference, they even asked him, they actually asked Pam Bondi a question about the tapes and the DOJ's memo and everything. And Pam Bondi was ready to answer. She was about to speak, and Trump interrupted her and was like, hey, look, are we still talking about this guy? Like, no, like what? Like why? Like years? Like why? Like everybody's talking about this dude. Like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I mean, I'm sick of this for you, Pam. You don't even feel like answering, do you? And Pam didn't catch. She wasn't quick enough. She was like, no, I don't mind answering it.
Yeah.
I know Trump had to be sick when that happened.
I don't need to be watching that. I just get the word of mouth.
No, go ahead and answer then. And, you know, Pam Bondi talked about how they released a lot of stuff, because there's a difference between releasing evidence around a case or releasing vital information or declassifying things and then releasing stuff, right? So they released a bunch of stuff to look like they were releasing something. Like they released the videotape of the night that Epstein got up out of here. And the problem
got up out of here
is that it's always been talked about that there was a tape of his cell that would prove definitively that like nothing untoward happened, right? But the tape isn't of like Jeffrey Epstein's cell with him sitting there and everything. It's of like a hallway. And you're giving a tape to conspiracy theorists. They're gonna do some extra looking. there's like 10 hours of tape. But there is 61 seconds missing.
Hurry up, come on, man.
I don't know how long it takes to kill somebody. But there's 61 seconds missing. I'm assuming that takes 50 seconds and gives you 11 seconds to get down the hall. And I'm not even saying that's what happened, by the way. I'm just saying 61 seconds, that's weird. And they asked Pam Bondi about it. And Pam Bondi is like, look, it's a very old system from the 90s where the tape resets at midnight. So it takes a second to like reset, and that's why 61 seconds are missing. And I had a lot of questions. I had a ton of questions. One, my first question, didn't even concern Epstein. My first question was, why are you telling everybody that? Because that is very valuable information if you're a prisoner in that. Because you know what they play in prison, the news. You probably sit there in Gen Pop like, wait, it what? Every day? I gotta go take care of something. So she says, look, this is the way that system works. So we're actually gonna be supplying more video footage to show that there's a minute missing every night. And I was like, why would you say that? The people in prison can hear you. But also, that's a pretty bad system. It's supposed to be watching somebody, and it takes a minute to blink. That's pretty wild. That it's just gonna be missing every day, and you're telling us that like it's not an issue at all. Felt crazy to me. And then they release the video, and then people go digging, they go looking, and one of the things they find is that the video has been doctored. Somebody at some point ran the video through Adobe Premiere and did something. And I'm not saying, look. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Adobe Premiere, all right?
That shit hard to use, you gotta be an expert.
All I'm saying is, I would have thought the government, with all their resources, you know what I mean? Like
it's
the government
if you don't know how to
would have like a special program,
software like that.
That just feels pretty cheap to make an Adobe Cloud account that you run this Epstein tape through. Like nobody's gonna know. So then people are wondering about the missing minute. They're wondering about how this video's been tampered with. And then even people who watch the full 10 hours of the video, because you gotta remember, some of these people are dedicated. They're like, there's actually a guard that leaves one way and never comes back, which proves that there's two ways to enter that hallway. And I was like, oh man, he's so screwed.
Back to Walmart. Before the Walmart, let y'all hear this shit real quick. Gotta get it right at the beginning. Keep it everywhere I go. Baby, you the one, be the mate for my soul. As long as I'm with you, I just wanna grow. Please don't waste my time. If it's me you really want, hey, I'll be your protection. Keep it everywhere I go. Please don't waste my time. If it's me you really want, hey, please don't waste my time. If it's me you really want, hey, I'll be your protection. Keep it everywhere I go. You don't want to be the man for my son. But y'all niggas ain't ready for that shit, man. Stop playing with me. I'm about to go. Niggas ain't ready for that shit, man. Stop playing with me. Niggas ain't ready for that shit, man. Let's go. Aura coming next. I'm gonna drop Aura next. And then, I don't know. But the mixtape ready. The mixtape done, man. Y'all niggas just gotta tap in, man. You feel me?